Welcome to episode 8 of the Laced Up Show. This is a show all about sneakers and sneaker news. I'm your host, Chase, with my co-host today, Landon, and this is our very first episode of the new 2020 new year. So let's just dive right in. So the very first sneaker NFT that you can actually redeem for a physical pair. Now, this digital fashion brand, Colt and Rain, is launching their very first NFT sneaker collection, and it's minted on the Ethereum blockchain. So this is a really cool thing about the NFT collection is that it's actually connected to an actual high-end physical footwear product. So this New York-based company calls itself the very first luxury fashion house born from crypto. Man. So the NFT will be dropping 2,000 animated NFTs, and that can be redeemed for an identical pair of Italian-made luxury sneakers. Now, the head of Colt and Rain, George Yang, says that each physical sneaker will be sourced with the finest materials and fabrication, valuing the sneaker at over $1,000 US dollars. So, Landon, what are your thoughts on this whole connection from, sneaker NFTs to the physical product?
So, I mean, it was my assumption that that was the idea all along, right? That's basically been the idea between these NFTs is to link you to physical copies.
That's
or was it
been my idea. I don't know if that's like Nike or Adidas's idea, but that's been my idea.
Because the NFT space is I'm still trying to get a grasp on it a little bit.
It's very early though.
Yeah, it's still early on in the process. Is this what the physical sneaker they're imagining is going to look like?
Yeah,
this photo that you have
exactly.
Here, so.
Yeah, so there's going to be two colorways. One of them is going to be like this purple, and there's another colorway as well.
Is that even an athletic shoe, or you said this is Italian footwear?
Yeah.
So it's a luxury sneaker, so like Gucci, Louis Vuitton type stuff like that.
Yeah,
along those lines. That's a really cool idea. I guess that's expensive, but everything along those lines for like high-end fashion and stuff like that is going to be expensive, I guess, for the most part. Like, it's a really cool concept, though. I mean, I actually did read about this just a little bit. I was considering doing it, and then I remembered I don't know anything about NFTs, so I didn't do it. But no, that's actually so. I mean, what do you think about this? Since it's your article,
I'm pretty excited because I don't specifically not about the shoe, but I'm excited about the idea that they're bringing to market. Yeah, because I really think that other brands can really hop on this kind of trend of the NFT, but actually connect them to footwear. And even,
you said Adidas planned to do that, right? In some shape or form, if you got their NFT, it would give you access to certain sneaker drops that maybe you wouldn't already have access to.
Well, it didn't say that specifically. It said you the Adidas NFT got you different types of items. It was all clothing though. It wasn't anything sneaker related.
Sneaker related.
Yeah. So, but they said they were gonna do some special events with people that actually held them, that actually have the NFT. So that could be, some Yeezy related drops or something along the lines of that. But, focusing back on this article, what really I'm excited about is because you have that NFT and it's kind of connected to the physical pair, it kind of almost eliminates the whole authentication process. Because if you're buying a shoe, you just go, hey, do you have the NFT with it? You don't
think someone can fake the luxury sneaker that's going to be connected to the NFT? You don't think they can create a replica of that?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, hopefully in the works, maybe five years down the line or something, they'll figure it out.
Something on there. I don't know how you intertwine it to a specific, like maybe you put a certain code that goes to the NFT somewhere like inside of the tongue or something, like it has to link back to a certain product.
I think that
if you search it up and it doesn't exist, that's how you would know. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, but moving on, Landon, what do we got?
All right, so this one's actually hurts my heart a little bit. So eBay is now adding a new fee to sneaker sales after dropping the seller fee back in 2019. So come January, I think it's January 19th, sneaker resellers will have to pay a new fee for selling their kicks on eBay. So this new fee, which is going to go into effect on January 19th, like I said, subjects all men's and women's athletic sneakers to sell for over $100 or more. The final value fee is going to be 8% or 7% for store subscribers. So eBay says from no fee verified returns and seller protections through authenticity guarantee to tools and resources to build and boost your business to the highest sales velocity on any marketplace, eBay just equips sellers like no other to accelerate and scale their businesses. So all right, like I said, this is going into effect on January 19th, so we got a few days from now. So the last 2 years of all athletic shoes on eBay, if you guys don't sell or if you did sell, you'd know everything in the men's and women's categories, athletic. It wasn't for kids for some reason, but men's and women's athletic categories had zero seller fees. Like No one does that. Even eBay was even talking about how GOAT currently charges $5 for a seller fee, and then on top of that, they do 9.5 commission. And then on top of that, they do 2.9 whenever you transition it to your bank. And then StockX is like a 10% transaction fee and a 3% processing fee. And then for Stadium Goods, it's like 20% commission fee, 1% processing. So it's like they still are going to remain the cheapest option pretty much by far, but it's still like nothing is cheaper than free. So I guess in other news, they also kind of intend to expand their authentication services to pre-owned sneakers as well. And not just, that's kind of what they're going to use this extra money that they're going to make from these fees. They were kind of tossing out different ideas that they have. But, what are your thoughts on the end of this short era? We knew it was coming. What are your thoughts on the end of this era for zero seller fees?
I mean, when they first announced that they were dropping this, I literally told Landon, I said, this is going to change the game for us. Like, this was
going to put them out of business. You thought it was going to put StockX and those companies out of business.
Well, I'm sure it hurt them for sure. I mean, if anything, if it didn't hurt StockX, it definitely brought eBay back onto the map, especially into the sneaker world. And, just compared to like StockX and GOAT. I mean, it definitely leveled the ground. Now you have to consider all three when you're actually shopping for a sneaker. But I mean, like I said, I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was a great idea with the 0%, but there's no way that they could have just done that forever. So I'm glad though they didn't do anything insane, bring it up to kind of where StockX and GOAT are. A little bit. So originally if before this whole thing happened, I think it was around 10%.
Plus the PayPal. They didn't even have the whole banking system yet where you could input your bank.
Yeah, so it was like 10. It was like around 10 to 13%. Then you got store subscribers. You get it down to like around, I think, like 9% was with everything.
And that's affected by your seller rating. And,
seller rating. It was like
if you're a top rated seller compared to
store subscriber. But I'm. This is nothing new. I mean, if you were not expecting this, you gotta be.
Some people wanted to live in a fairy tale.
I know.
It's been so.
They had to make money, so
I just can't. What do you think about the expanding into pre-owned authentication side of it?
That's good. I really think that's a great idea for them. I mean, personally, we don't do much on the pre-owned.
I feel like you could, because I feel like you could get away with the whole like buy an off-white or get an off-white that's fake, wear it once, sell it pre-owned so it doesn't go through authentication.
It's gonna be tough.
Kind of dicey.
Yeah, it's gonna be
tougher to you go to like any what do you call them, those boutiques and stuff like that, and they try and authenticate pre-owned shoes. They say it's significantly harder to try and authenticate a pre-owned shoe. I mean, there are certain tells on a shoe, like sometimes you put it under a blue light and you can see markings that are supposed to be there.
But if they're worn out, you never know. So I'm glad. I mean, I think eBay is taking the right steps, at least to help out their consumers. First, they started out with brand new. They got it figured out. They did the right they purchased the SneakerCon authentication. So I think they're like making their groove, they're making their strides, and then now they're expanding. So I think I think it's gonna be good. Honestly, this news about them authenticating used shoes is gonna not hurt StockX as much, but actually hurt GOAT in my opinion. But nothing new for the eBay. But moving on to the basketball side, actually, we got Rick and Morty and Puma, the MB.01 or LaMelo Ball is releasing in February. So LaMelo Ball's signature shoe, the MB.01, is getting its first collaboration thanks to Adult Swim's animated sitcom Rick and Morty. Now, there's no photos on this that's been released yet, but the collab is expected to release sometime in February with a retail price of $125. So, Landon, what are your thoughts on the MB.01s, and then also what are your thoughts on Rick and Morty?
So you know how I feel about the LaMelo Ball one already. If you guys haven't checked it out, go look at our shoe review. I already did a detailed review. There, I got the not from here pair right here. But the first thing is I'm actually kind of surprised that they're keeping it at $125 for a collab, because sometimes you see certain details and stuff like that will like kind of boost the retail price. But I think it's going to be smart. LaMelo Ball, like whenever I was doing some research on him and just kind of researching the shoe in general, you just see how unique he is. And one major reason that he partnered with Puma, is I talk about it in the shoe review, is that he wanted to be with someone who was gonna, allow him to be himself, do his own thing. Because honestly, LaMelo Ball probably doesn't have a signature shoe with any other brand right now. Like if he's with Adidas, they're like, prove yourself a little more.
Yeah.
If he's with Nike, prove yourself a little more. Jordan, prove yourself a little more. Like, I mean, because no one's gonna argue that Jayson Tatum or Luka Doncic or any of those guys haven't done more than LaMelo in the league right now. But he's already got a signature shoe sitting right up here on the shelf.
True.
And those guys are just playing in other Jordans. So it's like, that's kind of why he went with Puma, which is going to allow him to do this stuff. So I feel like we're going to start to see any show he's ever watched, whether it be Friends, whether it be, just anything that he's watched, you're going to maybe start to see it pop up in collabs on his shoes, because I just think that's a really cool touch. So it's a really nice shoe. And I mean, for keeping it at 125, it's going to be middle of the pack, but it's too bad they don't have any like leaked photos of it yet.
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
surprised, because normally
whenever
you put that information out there, you're going to at least like kind of tease what it might possibly look like, some type of color scheme.
I'm assuming it's going to be like neon green because of the whole Rick and Morty thing, but so follow up, so do you think, the Puma shoe is the best on the market right now?
It's, for the price, it's honestly one of my favorite. Like, it's super, super soft. The traction is amazing. I think Puma's traction is probably ahead of any other brand whenever they use that like non-slip rubber that they have, that compound that they put in their shoes. Like the Clyde All Pro is amazing. The Puma Fusion Nitro is like one of the stickiest shoes too, but the support's just terrible. So like I knocked that shoe down a little bit, but there's like really no struggles with that shoe. We actually did just order the Air Zoom GT Jump, which is like a lot of hype surrounding that shoe. So we're going to get those in. We're going to test those out. There's all kinds of new shoes and stuff coming out. That's what makes this business, fun to kind of continue to do that. But I mean, we talked about it, I think it would have been maybe a month ago, about how Jayson Tatum is about to start working on his first signature shoe with Jordan. So this is like, it's weird because this is like our age. Like these dudes are our age now. We're not looking at like LeBron, who's 38, like KD, who's 35.
These are the young kids.
LaMelo Ball is younger than us.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't, like that's weird. Like, this is our age of people getting shoes. So it's kind of a cool thing. Like we kind of got to watch them grow up through high school, kind of compare. Like whenever I was in high school playing basketball, I'd like watch their highlights, kind of do some comparison and stuff like that. So this is a really cool age of shoes for us to kind of be testing out and kind of see it come to fruition. So I don't know. It's a really cool concept, and it's gonna be fun to see kind of where they take these shoes going forward.
But moving on, what do we got next?
All right, so this shoe stock has a better one-year return than Nike, Disney, and Netflix. So Skechers USA Incorporated, yes, you heard that right. Stock might not have received the most headlines in 2021, nor the company's shoes turned the most heads, but nonetheless, traders and investors were treated to nice returns over the past year. So since January 2021, Skechers stock one-year return has outperformed several of the world's largest or biggest consumer directory and tech stocks. So the return breakdown for January 2021 to this present time is Disney is down from 179.09 to 158.81 or 157.81, and that's a return of negative 11.88%. Nike is up from 147.05 to 148.99 for a return of 1.32%. Netflix is up from 499.1 to 541.7 for a return of 8.55%. But finally, Skechers is up from 37.52 to 44.07 for a return of 17.45%. So, I mean, obviously you are more invested into the stock market, a whole lot more than I am. So, what are your thoughts about kind of hearing about this for the first time, or how do you feel?
Well, I didn't expect you to go into the stock that way. I was literally, when I heard this title, I was thinking like shoe stock, like the amount of shoes and the return policy. I was like, oh, Skechers has a 1-year return policy. I was like, that's crazy.
Skechers shoes. They're just not worth it to me.
Yeah. I'm kind of a little bit surprised, but then also not really. Disney, it makes sense. Disney kind of got shut down with COVID. Right. Nike is having some,
I guess maybe, but you have to factor COVID into everything. It
affected No, it affected everything for sure. But Disney, Disney World, the Disney parks definitely got shut down. So I understand why they're down. Nike's, barely up. I think last year they had an okay year. I mean, they were struggling with late shipments, so that makes sense. Netflix, that sounds about right for a tech stock. But then Skechers, a 17% return. That's pretty crazy, especially them being in the footwear industry, and I'm sure they had to deal with struggles with, their manufacturing getting shut down with COVID as well. But, also low-key, Skechers is like the third biggest shoe company in the world.
It's
you know
crazy.
that, right?
Yeah,
it's it's like Nike, Adidas, Skechers. So,
and it's like just the business that we're in. It's always like Nike, Adidas, Jordan. It's all New Balance. It's all just like those categories.
yeah.
You'll never see a Skechers.
No.
you'll
No. Would
you'll
you
never see a Skechers collab on anything.
So side note then, I want to pivot. Is there any type of collab that you would buy a Skechers?
That's tough. Well, first off, I don't know. A lot of Skechers models look the same to me, and I think that's my biggest problem.
So anything, who would you believe to go in there and go, you know what? This will be my first Skechers because I believe in the collab, not in Skechers. Is there anyone that will sell you on it? What if Steph Curry signed with Skechers?
Happen, though,
Let's just say, would you buy a Skechers?
That would hurt so bad. I would.
You would?
I would, but that hurts so bad. He's not leaving Under
Come
Armour.
on, though. Steph Curry, the S on Skechers?
Actually, that would work.
They might have something.
That would work okay. They need to, honestly, they do need to do something like that. Just, that is kind of a side piece where if you could get someone whose name starts with an S, that's an iconic figure, and you can weave their S into the Skechers logo and kind of switch it up, kind of morph it a little bit, and make it Skechers, but it's like their own S for a Skechers brand. I can't think of anyone famous with that.
Yeah.
Starting with an S other than Steph, and that still doesn't work because he's with Under Armour.
But
I just thought it was weird because, I guess
I would have never thought of that. No.
Yeah, you kind of pointed on it with it being a huge like lifestyle footwear. I just know that I'm kind of known to knock on Skechers a little bit.
No.
I mean, it's just for a certain. They have a certain
demographic. It's definitely
targeted
older.
towards.
Most of their shoes they're built for.
Cheaper.
They're cheaper. They're built for more comfort, and their sizing is a lot more dynamic. They have a lot of extra wide, a lot of extra wide shoes, for the older generation. If you ever go into a Skechers, it's a lot of older people are shopping for them.
The only brand that's like hype that I could compare to Skechers almost is New Balance. Is a lot of the same way. Like they do some wide stuff, they do some narrow fits, they do different things.
Right.
Like
New Balance is like that too.
New Balance is pretty close. They somehow New Balance I feel like was kind of intertwined with Skechers for a long time, and then somehow they kind of got their way out.
I think
I don't know how. I don't know when it happened. I think it was a little bit before our time in shoes, but they kind of got their way in, and then now you've seen it a little bit more with signing Kawhi Leonard, which is different. Whenever Kawhi Leonard signed with New Balance, it literally rocked my world from like, this guy's like an all-star, an NBA champion, and he's signing with New Balance. Yeah. Like even Puma doesn't sound that crazy.
Yeah.
And I feel like Puma was probably in there a little bit too a while ago, like being part of the not super high up in the chain of like where you would imagine someone to sign athletically or even just like
wasn't the most popular brand. But yeah, I really think that Skechers should take a few notes from New Balance and really try to push and see if they can actually somehow attend to that newer generation they have like, I think
they try, dude.
Who is it? Cardi B? Cardi B signed with Skechers, or
Cardi B signed with Reebok.
Or there's someone else.
Skechers,
there's someone else that's
Skechers
like
is
that.
the king of knockoffs. So Skechers knocked off like the Air Max 270 model.
Yeah.
And it was like in Burlington all over the place. And I was like, this is so embarrassing. Because like you can tell it wasn't done as good because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Their Skechers,
super cheap.
Their Skechers 270s we're just calling the 27s because that's probably how much it costs to make them. So Skechers 27s were just like, you could just tell the quality just wasn't there as much.
Yeah, I think that was a bad look on him, but but that was definitely an interesting article. But moving on, we got next actually kind of a little heartfelt story that PJ Tucker sold 100 of his rare sneakers for charity. So Miami Heat's power forward PJ Tucker is one of the world's prolific sneaker collectors. The sneakerhead recently decided to take some of his rarest pairs and sell them in the name of charity. So in partnership with eBay and the streetwear retailer SoulStage, Tucker has auctioned off over 100 pairs of sneakers over the past 2 weeks now. Now, a portion of the sales went to a nonprofit called Souls for Souls, a Tennessee-based nonprofit that distributes donated shoes and clothing to those in need. So, Landon, what are your thoughts on PJ Tucker in general, and then also about this story?
So PJ Tucker, man, he's one of my favorite characters in the NBA. Not just because of like how big of a sneakerhead he is, but he's just like an ultimate competitor. He does all the dirty work on whatever team he's on. Just a really good basketball player, and I watch the NBA religiously, so I'm always watching him. I have a close eye on PJ Tucker. He actually won a championship with Milwaukee last year, so I'm happy for him for that. His first championship of his career. But as for he's won the NBA does this thing called like the whole like sneakers king. Whoever has the best, whoever's like wears the best collective sneakers, gets like the sneaker crown for the year and something like that. He's won it so many times, like you just start to lose count. So his sneaker collection is just top tier. This guy pulls out shoes. I think it's so funny. So what he's famous for is like he'll wear this super rare KD shoe or something like that, like the KD2 or something, and KD will comment and be like, "I didn't even know that shoe existed."
What?
Or like, I don't have that shoe. Or he'll wear some new LeBron like 7 from like years ago, super rare collab. I didn't know that shoe existed. I don't have that shoe. Like LeBron's like, I don't even have that shoe. And he just has these shoes that just like no one else has. I'm surprised he didn't get the Off-White and Drake got it, because PJ Tucker I wouldn't even been surprised if he would have gotten that 101 sample for that. But that's a really cool story, because I, specifically speaking for myself, I guess two different perspectives here. For his perspective and my perspective, he has the shoes. I'm talking about someone who has the shoes. So if I had those shoes in my possession, man, that would be tough to let go. I actually don't even know. I didn't see what the shoes. This is your article, so I didn't actually see what the shoes were that he was, auctioning it off. But rare shoes, 100 of his rarest pairs are probably the 100 rarest pairs in the world.
Yeah, I think there were some photos. I think though one of them was like, I think it was either the Heineken Dunks or the 7-Eleven Dunks.
Some like unreleased stuff.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of that stuff. Because if it makes its way onto the aftermarket, this dude's an NBA player for freaking double-digit years. He's got money on money. So he could get those shoes if he wanted to. I'm actually, side note, I'm really curious on where some of these guys, like, do they buy off StockX? Or do you think they get connections?
I don't know. I mean,
wonder, like, can you imagine like an order comes through for like PJ Tucker on StockX, or like an order comes through for like Kevin Durant or LeBron James on StockX? Oh, ship this to LeBron James' address.
Well,
what in the heck?
Yeah, I mean, well, if you think like Melo, he signed with Puma. He's not gonna get anything, early from Nike.
No,
there's no way. So he's either got someone that's with Nike, that's low key giving it to him, or he's just like anyone else and buying either on StockX, Go or eBay.
That's just so interesting to me. But back to this article specifically, it's a really cool story. I just know that for me, like, to give those away for something would be tough. Not like it's not the right thing to do. This is definitely a really, really cool thing to do. And I like how he gave it kind of benefited a purpose that is near to him, which is sneakers. And the Souls for Souls, I'm assuming, has something to do with getting shoes to people who don't have them.
Yeah, yep.
It's got to be something along those lines. So, I mean, that's a really cool story. And props to him for doing that. Because like I said, there's like, you develop an emotional connection to your sneakers sometimes. The flip side of the scale is he probably has so many shoes that he could wear a different pair of shoes for the next 15 years.
Yeah.
Not like literally, he could probably wear a different pair of shoes. I've seen him he's so funny. I've seen him in the locker room before, and he's just got 30 pairs of shoes around his locker.
Wow.
Just like on the floor, like what one should have. And he's kind of famous for going onto Instagram and posting a few pictures on his Instagram and saying, "What shoes should I wear tonight?" So kind of letting the
That's
fans
cool.
So he's really interactive. He's a really great guy. He's a solid NBA player. He's been in the league for a while now. So I'm not surprised that he would do something like this, but just coming from a sneakerhead and knowing how hard that would be, it almost makes it even more of a props to him, because that's just I know that would not be the easiest thing to do.
Yeah. I thought it was a really cool story, so I just threw that in there. But what do we got next?
Okay, so this one's interesting. So Nike is actually reportedly beginning to fire unvaccinated employees this weekend. So Nike will begin firing unvaccinated employees this weekend, according to a report by the Oregonian. So the company, which had a vaccine mandate in place since October, will fire unvaccinated employees who have not received a medical or religious exemption on Saturday, January 15th. So in 2 days. So an email sent to Nike employee last week reads, "You failed to complete the verification process, and our records show that you do not have any approved exemption. As a result, you are no longer in compliance with the policy, and your employment is scheduled to be terminated on Saturday, January 15th, 2022. So I mean, what do you, I don't want to make this political at all. I'm not going to make this religious. I'm not going to even make this opinionated, like nothing along those lines. I'm just kind of curious on what you think about this happening. And I'm also, I'm more so just interested to see what people in the comments that see this video might kind of think about this whole vaccinated versus unvaccinated topic, because, it's easily one of the hottest topics in the world right now, or at least very close to it. But what do you think about Nike going ahead and making this move to, I mean, if you're not getting some sort of exemption, then they're going to go ahead and begin to let you know and terminate your employment?
Well, personally, I think, what Nike's doing, props to them, because they can do what they want to do. Like this, we live in America, it is a private business. It's not a government, business. So if they want all their employees vaccinated and that's something that they believe in, I'm glad they're sticking to it. And, if it doesn't agree and people aren't and they do get fired, who knows what's going to happen. So I don't know. It's like,
It's a really sticky.
yeah, like I'm not, like it sucks, but like if that's Nike's policies and they've given you this long and, obviously you don't agree with it, but if they're sticking to their guns
They
and
have their exemptions. It's not
right.
like if you're religiously exempt, if there's something wrong with your religion along those lines, you're still fired.
Right.
If there's something medically wrong
Right.
and you don't want to get you're still fired. Like they're giving you a way out. And from what I read within the article, it seems like it's more of like an agenda to kind of push it forward and bring more awareness because, like it or not, it does seem that the numbers show that people who are vaccinated tend to be safer. I think that's maybe what they're going for here. I mean, obviously you're going to get, there's two sides of the scale, and it really is. I don't even really think there's a middle ground here. I think it's really pretty much anti-COVID vaccine versus pro-COVID vaccine. I don't even think I mean, you're obviously going to have your anti-vax people and your pro-vax people, but I think within that, there's even an anti-COVID vaccine and a pro-COVID vaccine, and not all the anti-COVID vaccine people are just anti-vaccine in general.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm
I
saying?
mean, I get the people that, I
Are
mean,
cautious.
yeah, like if you don't want to get the vaccine, like you shouldn't. You shouldn't need to. But, if that's and you work at Nike, like it seems like they gave you enough time. It sucks like if you did choose this and Nike is enforcing it, but hopefully those people that are unvaccinated kind of saw this happening and either had a plan for reemployment somewhere else and was already making this transition so they weren't hit. That's the only thing I'm worried about is, with these people that were unvaccinated, hopefully they're just not, out of a job for a while. Like hopefully it seems like Nike gave them a heads up a while ago, and now this is it. So,
And to kind of expand it and take the lens off of just Nike into some other things, like I've read some stories about how the U.S. government let go of like 100 Marines or something like that because they weren't going to get the vaccine.
yeah.
And they literally kill these people to make sure that they can live through anything. Like, I mean, if you've ever read, I know my brother's kind of read books on like Marines and what they go through over the course of training.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have to pretty much die. Like they make sure that you die and they bring you back to life. So you know what it's like to die and you know how far your body can go. Like that's the extent of these training that these guys go through. And now it's, oh, you don't want to get the vaccine, you're out.
Well,
Like we're talking about Nike employees, and this is happening everywhere. Like this is just like kind of a microcosm of like everything. So it's kind of tough. I do feel bad about it. I think just the overall vibe that I got from the article is Nike just wants to make sure. I guess Nike is kind of, there's mandates in place, obviously. Like I think that was within what I was reading. There's certain mandates. Like there's a reason Kyrie's not playing basketball in New York.
well,
Like there's mandates in place, certain places to keep you safe to some, unsafe to others, uncertain to others. But
well, they did actually. So the Supreme Court just blocked the government from enforcing mandates on vaccines.
okay.
So it's not a law. So
City based can
no
still enforce it?
no. So it's literally because Nike is a private company, like they're not government owned. They can choose to mandate. And they can choose to force their employees because we live in America.
Yeah,
and,
within a business, you
right.
can choose your own rights.
Right.
You can honestly.
Well, yeah,
fire
you can.
anyone.
I mean, if it's like a policy. Hey, we only hire employees that are vaccinated. Okay, you should know that going in into the job, and if
But
you don't want
that-
to
but
be,
if you were in
then
the job already, but this is like
well,
this
yeah.
is foreign
I
ground
mean,
because now we're having to change things on the
but
fly, you know.
but I mean, I'm not surprised with Nike doing this. I think, but I just hope that people that were scheduled to get terminated have a plan B, and there's
Get back
an
on their
easy
feet.
transition.
Get
Yeah,
back on their
but
feet quickly.
but moving on to something different, more onto shoes. We got Louis Vuitton, and the Nike Air Force One collab is coming this spring. So one of Virgil Abloh's last collabs looks like to be releasing in spring 2022. These were first seen on last July at Virgil Abloh's last Louis Vuitton runway show, and ever since then have gotten so much attention. So there hasn't been an official release date yet, but some are saying in April, but also rumors are saying that these Air Forces are going to be retailing for $2,000. So Landon, what are your thoughts on this collab? And then two, do you think these high fashion collabs is better, or this high fashion collab is better than the Dior Nike collab? And then three, do you think this is already the collab of the year for 2022?
All right, so starting off with one, my thoughts on this collab is it's sweet because we've seen some leaked colorways. It's not going to be just one. I think it's got like brown,
It's
green,
like, I don't know,
red,
like 15
blue.
pairs or something.
Is
It's
it really up to that?
It's a lot because there's highs
seen a
too.
handful.
There's Air Force One highs.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I hate the Air Force One high, so I don't care about it. But that's crazy. I actually have not even seen a mock-up.
Yeah, there's
for
a
high
lot.
yet.
There's a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a super sweet collab. It's the Louis Vuitton pattern that's kind of into the upper. It's so.
Do you see the shoe box, the
Yeah,
briefcase?
The briefcase. Because what did the Dior's come in?
I don't
remember?
know.
I
don't
remember.
know.
It's not like we got them in hand.
No.
But yeah, the Dior's were nuts. The Dior's were pretty nuts too. But so that I guess that transitions on to number two. Do I think it's better than the Dior versus Nike collab, the Jordan 1 collab? Oh gosh, I mean probably not, but you have more options. So I don't know. I just think the Jordan 1 silhouette is probably my favorite, like just standalone model by itself of all time. And the Air Force One is maybe my second. So, I mean, they're right there, just neck and neck. So, if you're going to pick a different model, I do think it's cool that he chose the Air Force One. You easily could have made a Louis Vuitton Jordan 1.
Yeah, I don't
that
know.
would have been easy.
Yeah.
I mean, you just do the same type of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that it's probably has more to do with the material that you can use on an Air Force One compared to how it would hold up on an Air Jordan 1.
I think maybe Virgil did it because he wanted to do more than just one shoe and one shoe model. And with an Air Force, like, you can do that. Like,
well, I
you
mean,
can
you're talking
make
Air Force One low, Air Force One high, Air Jordan 1 low.
No, but I'm saying like you can do different uppers and different colorways on an Air Force One because I mean I don't think
pretty simple color blocking. Is that kind of what you're talking?
Well,
about?
I don't think Virgil would have been able to do enough on a Jordan 1. I don't think he would have been able to release 10 Jordan 1 highs and 10 Jordan 1 lows.
Probably more expensive too, just to create the product.
True.
It would probably, like, if we're talking,
But,
you said what, $2,000 for these.
Yeah.
So with the amount of stuff that they're probably putting into this Louis Vuitton collab, which is already high end, it might have been going for $4,000 to like $8,000, depending on the two. So
I don't know.
It's interesting. I think it's cool.
So
way, I think it's
so
cool
you
he
think
chose
so
Air Force
you're
One.
gonna side with Dior being better than the Louis Vuitton
I have to
for now?
until I see him in hand. Until I see him in hand, if I see him in hand, which odds are I probably won't, but at least there's a bunch of colorways out there for me to lose on. So, but for number three, I mean, do I think it's a collab of the year? It's January, so definitely though, it's gonna have really high potential.
Yeah.
Some other things I'm thinking of are, you have the Union Dunk collab this year, but I don't know if I can throw Union Dunks. The Dunk model had its time. It came back, and now it's just a good shoe.
Yeah.
Whenever the Dunk hype just came around, I'm like, dang, man, these shoes are so nice. And I'm like, these shoes are nice.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it's definitely fallen off a little bit for the
It's fallen off
Dunks.
a little bit. The Union Dunk, they're so clean though. Like, don't twist that. Like, the Union Dunks are so clean. They got like a blue, a purple, like a faded blue, a faded purple coming out. You got the Amaminiere and the Union Jordan 2s. Both of those collabs are coming out this year. I don't love the Jordan 2 models, so I'm just tossing out some collabs that I can think of off the top of my head because those are 100% not the collab of the year to me. But this is gonna be right there. I mean, it's weird because we're talking about it in February. Like, I feel like it's tough because we remember we did an article, or I did an article like a week or two ago where I tried to get you to remember the top 5 most
Yeah,
expensive
I
shoes of the
completely
year. You
forgot
couldn't
3 of
remember any of
them.
the shoes,
Yeah.
and they released like in like May.
Yeah.
It's not like they released in February.
No.
So like this shoe, I mean, you're gonna have to circle all the way back in November and be
Yeah.
like, hey, remember these released?
That's true.
Remember these released?
That's
So I
true.
think that's the whole part that you have to kind of think about whenever it comes to that. But as far as quality, super cool, and I think that it's got a good chance because, man, the saddest part about it is once they're gone, they're gone. Like,
Yeah, that's
Virgil
it.
Abloh's coming to an end as far as like his designs are. The same way is how it went with Kobe. Like, it's really tough to swallow, but you see that and you're like, don't you want to have one of his last ever sneakers? Doesn't that make it one of the best sneakers ever?
I
Is
don't
it's
know.
one of his last
Are you
ever
gonna
sneakers?
pay $10,000 for it? Because that's
Am
what
I
it's gonna
have
go for in the
$10,000?
aftermarket.
Am I gonna have $10,000? Because all signs point to no. I don't know. I will see. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
really,
excited. I'm looking forward to
it's
that.
gonna be a
collab.
really sweet collab. There's no arguing that.
For sure. But moving on, what do we got next, Landon?
All right, so this is going to be Nike introduces a new 2022 lifestyle shoe called the Waffle Debut. So, in 1973, Nike successfully brought the market to the Waffle Trainer, one of the brand's first major innovations. So, since its debut, the shoe's concept has undergone an array of interpretations, changing hands with both, Sakai waffles, the undercover waffles, and it's also appearing in new lines, inline makeups, all different kinds of stuff like that. But later on this year, yet another one is going to be added to the ladder and joining the fray, and behold, the Waffle Debut. So this Waffle Debut is more of like a contemporary design. It's going to have like a nylon base, so it's meant to be a little bit more for fashion. You kind of have some suede overlays.
Mm-hmm.
You get the oversized swoosh that kind of turns into a pull tab around the heel, kind of a wedged midsole, which looks pretty similar to like the Pegasus shoe line for Nike shoes. So these should be releasing in the next few months. They've already started even tossing out more colorways than just a black and white. So
Gotcha.
what do you think about this new Waffle Debut?
It's that's
a lifestyle shoe.
Yeah,
Just a lifestyle
it's a meh kind of shoe to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing special. It's not like, oh wow, like that's a really cool model. Like Nike really innovated over this model
It's
or
a hard
anything.
pivot from Louis Vuitton off-white to
Right.
Waffle Debut. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
I mean, I think it's cool. The only thing that I really think is cool about this is probably the outsole and the whole waffle, story behind it. I think that's such a cool thing. Have you ever heard the story about why they call it a waffle?
Not fully.
For the tread. So the tread that they made, right? The little squares.
Oh yeah, it looks okay.
The owner made it in a waffle maker.
No, he did not.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
crazy.
almost positive that's
You're
the
gonna get
story behind it.
Someone's
Please
gonna
correct me below if that's wrong, but I'm almost positive that's how that waffle tread came out, and that's why the name is called the waffle. But that's the only thing cool about this sneaker, in my opinion.
It's kind of a weird name, Waffle Debut. The shoe's name is.
There's
Waffle.
no way
It's
they're
like,
gonna keep it debut though.
It is. It's the name of the shoe because you've got like the. It
looks like a
LD
baby
waffle,
Sakai.
You've got this and that. This is called the Waffle Debut.
I don't know.
Like, because it sounds weird. You're gonna say that it's like, oh, what are you wearing? This is the Waffle Debut. Oh, when did they debut? No. It's called the Waffle Debut.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think
It's a
the
little
name's
weird.
probably the weirdest part about it. It's cool how the swoosh kind of turns into a heel tab.
I was just about to say that's a cool touch, but then also like, does that mean that I wonder how the colorways are gonna match with that? Because they're always gonna have to make that swoosh into the heel tab, so they always have to think about that. But I don't know. It's a meh shoe for me.
It's just a 2022 lifestyle shoe.
Yeah.
It kind of follows like the midsole similar to the Pegasus line, so they tried to kind of.
Do you think
keep some
like their very first release of this shoe is gonna resell?
Oh gosh, because you know what, that Waffle Trainer, whenever those came out, those were reselling.
Really, I
Did
can't
you know
remember.
That? Yeah, so the Waffle Trainer, like they weren't for a lot, and it was pretty recent. Like it was the oh gosh, you should have known. I guess.
So these are gonna sell out, you think?
I don't think that these are as nice as the Waffle Trainer,
Okay.
but I think because this is more of like I don't know what the gear. Honestly, didn't really pay close attention to it. The Waffle Trainer just kind of popped up on the radar, and then was like selling out because people were like tweeting about it and this and that. It's like, oh, I can't get my size. I can't get my size. I'm like, the Waffle Trainer. It's like. I swear Sakai LD waffles aren't selling out anymore. Like, what are you talking about? You can't get the Waffle Trainer. So, I mean, it's one of those. I personally don't think it should resell because, shoot, I mean, these barely resell. I mean, I don't know. I'd be surprised if it does. The only way it would happen is if they just drop them early with like crazy limited stock.
They
just
never
like
got their
one
shipments
size 10,
in.
one size 10 and a half, one size. So then in that case, yeah, they probably would resell for like maybe a month and maybe $5 over retail. But like,
Hey,
I
we'll
don't know.
see.
It's an okay shoe. It's just a lifestyle shoe.
Yeah.
I always like I'm always curious whenever a brand introduces a new shoe.
Yeah, new
just
model.
Kind of look at it, see what it's gonna kind of do in the public's eyes. But yeah.
But moving on, let's focus on a shoe that is definitely gonna sell out. Hopefully I don't butcher this name, but I think it's Salihi Beberi teases a new Croc colorway. Is that not how you pronounce it? Do you know? Is it Salil?
I think it's Bembury. I think you missed an M in the.
Oh, did I typo it?
I think
Bembury?
it's Bembury.
Oh, it is Bembury. My
Okay.
bad. So I think it's Salih. I'm going to go Salih Bembury teases a new Croc collab. So if you haven't heard of Salih Bembury Crocs collab, well, it's some would say it's one of the best collabs of 2021. Now in 2022, Salih Bembury has bring back the same collab but in a new colorway, calling it this Croc colorway, and it's basically just like this neon green looking Croc, and it's pretty crazy what it kind of looks like. I really do like this collab, but his previous Crocs right now are going for around the $500 range on the aftermarket. So Landon, what are your thoughts on this collab and just Crocs in general?
Dude, this is crazy. $500, man. He did because he released it in like a brown and like what were they called?
Green, right?
Cucumber.
Yeah,
they're calling it like a cucumber. It was like a
dark
green.
green.
Though.
Yep.
So this is obviously kind of more of like a crocodile look, like you said. I think it's too funky. I don't think
for a Croc
for $500, absolutely bonkers. What do they retail for?
60.
Oh my gosh!
I think it was 60 bucks.
I thought you were gonna say like 200.
No.
I forget what they retailed for.
Yeah.
Yo, that is crazy. No. Please don't pay $500 for this. Actually, please pay $500 for this. The aftermarket is what the aftermarket is, so I don't really care. But that's just crazy to me. The shoe itself is just hurts my eyes to look at, but
really,
it's just hideous beyond all measures.
So, all right, would you ever buy a Croc? You don't own any Crocs, right?
I don't own any Crocs, and that's by choice. I'm not a big Croc person. I'll leave that to my dad. Crocs are okay. They're not bad. I think now that we have this new age of, man, call me a hype guru or whatever, but I definitely lean more towards like the Yeezy foam runners or my Crocs. If I were to get a pair of Crocs,
really,
I would probably get foam runners.
Really,
and that's saying something because I don't love that arch in the middle of the foot.
Yeah,
I think it looks kind of funky, but I'd have to. These gotta be comfy. Hopefully, I don't know. They gotta be pretty comfy.
It's just a Croc.
It's just a Croc.
I mean,
the foam runners are comfy. You tried on the foam runners, right?
Do foam runners have boost in them?
I don't even know what.
I don't think they do.
We don't normally have to look into it because we don't normally get them.
I don't know. I personally would wear these over a foam runner.
You would not put that on your foot.
Yeah, I would.
The green ones?
In sport mode, for sure.
The green ones.
Yeah.
The crocodile ones.
Yeah.
You're lying.
I would.
You're lying.
I'm gonna buy them.
It's a cool.
I got $500.
It's cool though. It's cool. Do you think he's gonna come out with more colorways this year?
Oh, for sure. I think Croc was like, whoa, this collab. This is like.
Dude, it
they're
doesn't even
off-white.
look like a Croc to me. I like whenever I first saw this, it was being like displayed as like a Pollock's clog. Is what it was called, like a Pollock's clog. So I'm like, oh, this is his version of Crocs without being with Croc. It is a Croc.
Yeah.
So it is a Croc.
Yeah.
I thought it was a Pollock's clog, and I didn't look into it much because I didn't get a pair, so I didn't need to look into it.
Oh
much.
well, actually, let me make sure.
Because it says Pollock's clog, I just didn't know if it had anything to do along the lines of Croc brand. I guess that'll be another thing that they'll call you out on in the comments. For
You know what?
That being wrong.
I might be mistaken. I think it is. I don't think it is Croc.
It just looks like it. That's
well, it's weird. It's weird. All right. So
Croc.
according to the article from Sneaker News, it says, according to us here at Sneaker News, Salih Bembury Crocs Pollock's clog was easily among the best of 2021, despite being not a sneaker at all.
Is that Crocs in capital C?
Yes.
So it probably is Crocs.
So
you're probably right.
It looks like a Croc.
Like a Croc to not be a Croc. Yep. It looks too much, but just as far as like I like how they switched it up. I don't think I love the holes. I think the holes like in a normal.
They're still
Croc,
there.
No, in a Croc. I don't.
Yeah,
like the
just
holes
like
in a normal Croc.
Right.
Just evenly distributed.
Right. Hole punch.
Just like random hole
Yeah,
punches.
yeah.
Think that looks funky. Honestly, the Croc model itself, if you just like flattened it out, like just made it smooth and didn't make it like breathable like that, probably would look a little bit cooler.
I think they have
I
them
think
like
they
that.
have
They
probably
do.
have some versions like
I'll buy
that.
you one. We'll
I
test it
won't
out.
wear it.
Shoe
I
review
won't
it.
wear it, but
We'll put it in
the
sport
idea-
mode. We'll see how it is on the traction.
It's not bad. I'd rather wear
He's coming to
slides. I'm not. I'm actually not.
100 likes, he's buying a Croc.
You're gonna get 100 comments on how you pronounce his name wrong.
That's okay.
It's cool though. I think it's nice. Like I said, new model, something we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
It's always fun to see because you're gonna get plenty of Air Jordan 1 collabs, plenty of Air Jordan 1 colorways, plenty of Adidas Yeezys. So that's why I like the whole, the foam runner. It was new.
Yeah.
What are they gonna do now?
Yeah.
You're starting to get the Yeezy knit this one just like released this past
Yeah,
year,
the
this
knit
Yeezy
basketball with the knit
basketball
upper.
shoe. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of stuff are they going to continue to come out with? The compact design was new this year. So don't get me wrong, I love the 350 V2s. I love the 700s. I love the stuff like that. But, it always is. We kind of live in a what's the next thing type of world.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I
Always
imagine
hungry
the
for the new.
pressure is just immense
Yeah.
on these brands to like, what's the next thing? Oh, let's put out this Waffle Debut. Just sitting there, no one buys it. Oh gosh, man, we spent all this time on this Waffle Debut.
$1 million
and no
went
one
into
wants it.
research. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I think it's a cool collab. But moving on to our last article, Landon, what do we got for the last one?
So to finish this off, we've got Dwayne Wade's Wow brand, which is Way of Wade, with Lightning is dropping a new futuristic shoe. So Dwayne Wade's Wow brand with Lightning, Dwayne Wade's an NBA All-Star, and he's like a fashionista. He's like the brand partner with Lightning, and they announced that this release of their Essence 2 futuristic sneaker is going to be updating the shoe series with a more unique design and some cool elements. So for the fall and winter 2021, the latest Wow sneaker has been updated with a durable Cordura fabric, a mixed, material in the upper, and some rubber grip for some traction on the outsole. So you're going to get it's a really funky design. You get like an elastic pull tab lacing system. It's got that BOA, that BOA, where you dial the shoes to tighten it. So that's how you're going to tighten the shoes. And we've seen that on multiple golfing designs.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. It's got the BOA. You just kind of tighten it. You kind of feel the notches click. You have like a 3 grid section across the midsole. And then it's supposed to be lightweight, which is surprising because this shoe almost looks like
heavy.
a boot.
Yeah.
It says it's supposed to be lightweight. They are retailing for $225, and it's actually available on his website in select sizes on the Way of Wade website. And, it's going to be in women's sizing right now. But what are your thoughts on this Way of Wade shoe? I know we're not super deep into that side of the...
So my first impressions on this reminds me of an NMD paired with a Jaden Smith collab.
Rebalance.
Yeah. Because Jaden Smith,
it's got the same
it has the
midsole.
same midsole where it's like a 3-block
I didn't even think
midsole,
about that.
and then the upper looks straight out of an NMD. So, and then they added like these like little the lace setup. But that's my opinion on these. So I don't think this is anything new. I think this is just I want to know how much Dwayne Wade was actually involved with this. Because personally, I think it's just a copycat, and they just took two things and just put them together.
I mean, I totally forgot about his Way of Wade line. That's something that we should try and review sometime because I was like on his site whenever I was looking at the article. I went ahead and went to his site, kind of was getting a better idea of what went into the shoe and different stuff like that. And I was looking at his other shoes, like the Way of Wade 8, the different. I'm like, these are sick. His shoes look dope.
Really?
So, if you go look on his website, these are just...
They're basketball shoes?
Yeah, basketball shoes. Because that's what he wore whenever he was in the NBA. He was partnered with Lightning.
That's right, man. He retired.
Yeah, he's done.
Right.
Now. He's done. Oh, yeah. He's a Hall of Famer. So, he spent some time playing basketball in certain shoes. So, I forget. It's the same way it's like you forget that Klay Thompson's with Anta and his 7th or 8th or whatever line it is within that brand. I just forget that Dwayne Wade's with... I want to say that someone else signed with Lightning. I can't remember who it is. I think it's D'Angelo Russell. I think D'Angelo Russell signed with Lightning too or something like that. And, they're not super common, of course. But, they're still... They make waves. Like I said, I think it's a Chinese brand, so more prevalent in China would be my guess.
Yeah.
But the designs on some of his shoes are cool. I thought this was a super cool look. And it's weird because you don't see that BOA type lacing system a lot.
No.
Aside from golfing shoes, we've sold multiple golfing shoes that had that system. I wonder how that feels for support.
Yeah,
lockdown, all that stuff.
I don't know. I mean, hopefully they don't add it to a basketball, because a basketball shoe, I doubt that's actually going to give that much support. I mean, that little. I mean, there's no way that you can lock it.
So thin.
I mean, even if they're made out of metal, I mean, still locking it in. I think
it's wire. It's wire.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'd love to see them in hand, but I don't think this is anything new. I think this is like a copycat of two shoes that is probably going to be worse on your foot because it doesn't have either technology in them. Like, it doesn't probably have a boost.
We don't really
type.
know what, and then at the same time, to counter that, we don't actually know what Lining puts in their shoes for the most part.
True.
So.
I mean, hey, Lining, if you're listening, we'd love to.
Send us a pair.
I'd love to have you change my opinion.
Never mind, we won't put that out there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. Just thought it might be funny to talk about for just a second. But that's actually going to wrap up this episode for number 8 for our Laced Up show. Thank you guys for taking some time to watch. But until next time, peace.